Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and today we are doing a good, bad, and ugly on the Foxbody Ford Mustang because it is Sunday, and Sunday we do good, bad, and ugly. So if you want to see your car, leave a comment down below and let me know the car that you want to see next week and we'll get it done, baby. Sorry about Friday, by the way, for not uploading on Friday. I started making a video, then my phone had to reset, and after I reset it, the video is gone. So I'm very sorry about that, but we're back to normal. Foxbody Ford Mustang. If you want to support the channel, www.smoothstance.com/shop to pick up some hats, shirts, or shorts, and let's get right into the video. And fact of the day is by FBI agent once again, because he's the only one that's doing facts. So if you want your fact and your name put on there, comment a fact down below. And it is the U.S. Navy was actually formed twice, once on October 3rd, 1775, and then the second time around the 1880s. Why? I have no idea, but he said it, and 10 of you guys liked the comment, so I'm assuming it's true. Let's get right into the video. Alrighty, so the Foxbody Mustang, or the third generation Mustang, was produced from the years 1978 to 1993, which is a very good long run for a sports car. But during that time, it went through a bunch of different changes, which is why you always see like these different looking Fox bodies and you never see like the same one, because there's a lot of different like looks and engines and body styles and all that stuff. So to start, let's start with the body options. They had a 2-door coupe, a 3-door hatchback, a 2-door convertible, and even a 4-door sedan, which is hilarious. I think a sedan Mustang actually was a thing, but just don't buy that because, I mean, it's a sedan Mustang. All of these were available as any option except for the Cobra package. The Cobra package, which was only available in the hatchbacks, is like the best of the best package for the Foxbody Mustang. The easiest way to determine which Fox body is which is through the headlights. From 1978 to 1986, they came with these like weird quad headlight arrangement that just looks awful. And from 1986 to 1993, it came with the more well-known design that just looks a little bit cooler in my opinion, and a little bit sleeker. It's like rectangular and there's only one, it's all connected. It's a lot better, and I'll obviously put some pictures up now of what they look like. So for the sake of this video, we're just going to call that pre-facelift and facelift. Since the car came with so many different trim options and was available for such a long time, there are also a lot of different engine options available with the car. Keep in mind, this car grew up during the oil crisis too, so Ford had to make some changes to appeal to like the average consumer now. So they made a ton of these very economy friendly Mustangs, which is hilarious. And the names for these engines are the most intense, like random weird names in the world. We got the Thrift Power, the Cologne, the SX, the Windsor, and then the 5.0 Windsor, which is the one that everybody wants, obviously. Like I said before, some of these engines were like inline 6s, V6s, and even, yes, 2 inline 4s. There was a turbocharged inline 4 Mustang, and then just a normal inline 4 Mustang. It blows my mind. But since I don't want to go over every single engine option and every single different trim level, and let's face it, you probably don't want any of those anyway, we're going to talk about the 2 most wanted ones. The 4.2 liter V8 that makes a very laughably small 120 horsepower, and the 4.9 liter V8 that makes a respectful 223 horsepower, but still, honestly, that's nothing crazy. Yes, the 4.9 liter is the one that everybody calls the 5.0. They just round it up, I guess, because I don't know why, they're a bit confused. And now I know you're also probably a bit confused with all the different engine options and trims and stuff, but basically, the newer the Fox body, the bigger the engine, the better. And if you can afford a Cobra, go for that one. Just so you know, the car was available in both an automatic transmission and a manual transmission, and yes, the car was rear-wheel drive because Mustang is just cool like that. Now it's time to get into the modifying scene and what people do with these cars when they purchase them. And let's be honest, we all know exactly where these cars go when being modified. Straight to the streets. They are just like an absolute powerhouse in the drag racing world, and so it's no surprise that when most people buy one, they're going to turn that car into like a freaking 6-second quarter-mile monster, and that's really cool to me. I personally love how like American-made muscle cars can just zoom in a straight line. It makes them a bit different from the rest. Just like European cars and Japanese cars, sure, we can corner well, but we're not the fastest in a straight line. But like the muscle cars, that they know that they are, and they're okay with that. Just make sure you never like race a Foxbody Mustang on the highway though, because these guys are always running some insanely high power. Now for drifting, this car actually has been seen before, just not a lot, because I mean, there's like 5 million better options for drifting. And for show cars, I don't think I've ever actually seen like a show car Foxbody, unless we're talking about like the restored model old cars, but that's just because it's an old muscle car, and every single old muscle car is restored like that. And I guess that's technically a show build, technically, but I'm more talking about like stance builds, like what's going on in the car community today, and you never see that with these Foxbodies. But that's okay, because the body lines work well how they are built, and it would look weird having like a stanced Foxbody that pulls up to like stance nation meets and stuff like that. It would just be weird. So yeah, you can make it into a show car if you just like restore it and keep it looking nice and pretty, but for the most part, that's never really what people go with these cars. All right, so now we are into the nitty gritty ghost titty, baby. We are into the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the way this works, just so in case you're new here, is first I'll go over the good, which are things that are great about the car and you just can't deny are amazing. Then I go over the bad, which are like take it or leave it. If you like it, that's good. If you don't, that's bad. And then it's the ugly, which are things that are just like, golly, get that away from me. That is a terrible car. And first, we're going to start off with the good, because I'm a happy fellow. And right off the bat is the price. You can easily find a Foxbody Mustang for under $5,000 all day long. And the amount of fun that you're going to have with one of these cars is so worth the money. Next is the aftermarket support is absolutely through the roof. It's one of the largest cars out there aftermarket support wise, to be honest, because everybody who owns one is going to buy parts for it. So they have that supply and demand. Next is the community is huge too, so if you ever actually need help installing one of those 5 billion parts that you get to choose from, somebody out there is going to want to help you. But that's not to say that you're going to even need the help, because actually working on one of these cars is a breeze too. They're a very simple car. Next is, and I usually honestly don't say this about cars, but this car can make you a lot of money. Here's the deal. We've gone over some very good old cars before that technically, if you bought it and kept it clean and stock and didn't drive it for years, it could make you money. But let's face it, you don't want to do that. If you're going to buy a car, you're going to drive it. This car can make you money while driving it. All right? Let me introduce you to a little thing called betting on your races. All right? They can win races reliably all the time. And I'm not saying you should race for money. It's a terrible idea. But I'm just putting it out there. All right? It's out there. It's in the stratosphere. You do what you want with that information. Next is the looks of the car work so well. Now, to be honest, for a Mustang, they don't look anything like a Mustang, but for just a normal sports car, they look really cool. If they hadn't put the Mustang name on there, I don't think they would have been as popular as they are. So I'm happy that they still put the Mustang name on there, but it's a little weird because they don't look like Mustangs, but they look good. That's what I'm trying to say. Next is they have options for daily driving too, which is awesome. Nowadays, most muscle cars can only be used for fun, and it would be silly to daily drive a freaking ZL1 Camaro. But they did make some Foxbodies with inline 4s and 4 doors for everybody that needs to get to work and back on time. And finally, for the good is the fact that they are rear-wheel drive and they're extremely lightweight, especially for a Mustang. They are a muscle car that is nothing like any other muscle car out there, and that is awesome. Now it is time for the bad, and right off the bat is the availability. They are an enthusiast car, and they have been eaten up. You can find them easily, but finding the exact one that you're going to want is going to be damn near impossible, because everybody else is going to scoop up that exact same one. Next is the exhaust note. I always put this in the bad because it's always up to you, and with the Foxbody, there's so many different options anyway, but here's a 5.0 V8 one. Let me know if you like it or not. Next is the exterior mods are kind of lackluster. Like, yes, you can buy some really good performance like hoods out there, like Cal induction hoods and all that, but there's no like wide body kits or big wings for a Foxbody Mustang. So if you wanted to turn it into like a show car in today's standards, it's going to be very hard. But like I said, most of the aftermarket support lies within the actual performance of the car. Next is the interior is very outdated and just hideous in my opinion. I like newer interiors in the way that they like wrap around the driver and are all up to date. And so yes, this is a bit biased, but the interior is honestly nothing special. You shouldn't really expect much though when you're buying a sports car from the oil crisis days. Any sports car is going to have a bad interior, and especially from days where they were trying to cut costs, it's going to have a pretty rough time. Next is the fact you're going to have everyone wanting to race you or saying like, yo, how much power does it make? It happens with me and my 350Z literally all the time. They're always like, yo, do you drift it? Are you drifting it, Mark? Are you drifting it, bro? And I'm just like, no, man, I'm just enjoying driving it normally. And that's exactly what's going to happen to you if you buy a Foxbody Mustang. Everyone's going to think that you have like 1,000 horsepower, and it's going to get annoying when they keep asking you over and over again, are you going to drag race it? Are you going to drag race it? It's just annoying. And finally, for the bad is looking for a good one is like a needle in a haystack. Most people had them sitting in their yards for like 30 years, and it will just take a little bit of time to find the perfect one. But that's why I put it in the bad and not the ugly, because it still can be done to find a nice one. It just takes a little bit longer than a normal car would. Next is the ugly, which are things that are awful about the car, and right off the bat is the reliability of these cars is just no longer there. When they came out, they were great cars, but they are like 40-year-old cars now, man. They're not going to be able to be ready to drive from the get-go, and you need to know that before getting yourself into one of these cars. Finally is the common problems list on these cars is longer than problems on a freaking new BMW, okay? Every time I do one of these good, bad, and uglies, I look up that car and then I write common problems next to it. And this one's common problem list was insanely long. They have faulty water pumps, their subframes, both front and rear subframes like to go out. The strut towers will go out. And then I saw something that literally just said engine failure, which I mean, that's a problem, all right? Now, I know they are meant to be project cars in today's day and age, but if you're thinking of one as like your first car or God forbid a daily driver, make sure that it checks out all those boxes when you go to pick it up, because there's a lot of issues that this car came with. So, do I think that you should get one? Well, abso-positively as a project car, all right? They are a blast of a car, it seems like, and everything is very cheap for it too, but for like a daily driver or a first car, no, do not get that car unless you have a ton of money to spend on a very good one right out of the gate, and then you still have like $5 grand saved just in case one of the common problems go. The problem lies in finding the car itself. Do you want to spend like $3,000 on one that's been sitting for years and pray every single day that you drive it that the subframe doesn't just fall out or the engine isn't just going to explode? Or do you want to spend the $10,000 on one that's been garage kept and you can drive it home the day that you bought it, no questions asked? It's really up to you and what you're looking for, but I still would recommend not going with the daily driver option, and just, even if you get a nice one, turn it into a project, because these cars are a lot of fun, and if you have the time and the patience, it's gonna pay off. But just don't make the mistake of buying a project car and thinking that you can daily drive it and you'll be as happy as hell with this car. All right, guys, that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like, comment another video you want to see down below, and subscribe to the channel for more. Let me know another car that I should do next week. Also, tomorrow is going to be a 350Z video. I'm going to update you guys on everything that I want to do to the car, because I always get comments asking, yo Mark, what are you going to wide body the 350Z? Are you going to do this to the 350Z? What are you going to do to it? So I made a video for it and I'll update you guys tomorrow on that. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, you already know what to do, baby. Das vidanya, and have a nice night.